This is something I've been carrying inside for a long time, and I need to finally let it out. My husband and I, both 36, have been together for 16 years and married for 14. We have 2 daughters, ages 13 and 12. 3 months ago, I made the biggest mistake of my life. I cheated on him with a coworker. It happened only once, and the regret was immediate and overwhelming. To this day, I still haven't fully understood why I did it. On the surface, it might seem like it was due to my husband being preoccupied with work, leaving me feeling neglected and unappreciated. But I know deep down that isn't the true reason. I've been attending individual counseling, trying to uncover the root cause of my actions. I couldn't live with the guilt. The very next day, I confessed everything to my husband. He was devastated, calling me every horrible name he could think of, and I deserved every single one. I deserve worse. I can't even comprehend how I let things escalate to that point. What started as innocent flirting spiraled out of control before I even realized it, and by then it was too late. I wish something, anything, had stopped me before I made the worst decision of my life. After that day, I cut off all contact with my coworker. I gave my husband full access to my phone, trying to reassure him that I was willing to do whatever it took to fix things, if he would give me another chance. I told him I would understand if he wanted a divorce, but I would do everything in my power to regain his trust and prove how deeply sorry I was for the pain I had caused. My husband has always been someone who believes in only one chance. Once trust is broken, there are no second chances, not in friendships, and definitely not in relationships. At first, he told me he wanted a divorce. But then, quarantine happened, and for 2 months, he remained in the house without initiating the process. The first month was unbearable. He was cold, speaking to me only when necessary, and only about the children. I slept on the couch and gave him as much space as possible. Occasionally, I reminded him that if he ever wanted to try to make things work, I was willing. But during that time, he kept his distance and said many hurtful things I deserved. Then something changed. In the second month, he started talking to me again. Our conversations weren't deep, but they were normal. We laughed a little, watched movies with our daughters, and even had casual discussions. It gave me hope that he might be considering reconciliation. Slowly, it felt like we were becoming friends again. One night, he even invited me back into our bed. I truly believe we were making progress. I felt good about the direction we were heading. Looking back, I regret not suggesting marriage counseling at that time. I didn't want to pressure him or make him think I was trying to push the past aside. Then one night, we were in our bedroom, drinking and reminiscing. It felt like we were reconnecting, like we were falling in love again. I was overjoyed. In the moment, caught up in the emotions, I straddled him playfully as we laughed about an old inside joke. It felt so natural, like we were young again. But then, suddenly, he began to cry. He asked me to stop. He said he couldn't do this. The pain in his voice shattered me. I apologized and we went to sleep, but I knew I had made a mistake. I believe that moment pushed him away forever. 2 days later, he told me he wanted to proceed with the divorce. He said he had tried, but he just couldn't do it. My heart broke. I wanted to argue, to fight for our marriage, but instead, I simply told him I understood. We agreed that if divorce was inevitable, we would keep it fair. Even though we had lawyers, we sat down together and worked out many of the details on our own. He told me he planned to take a 2-week trip before coming back to pick up the girls. We agreed to split time with him equally, half the week with him, half with me. I even helped him pack his things. But when it was time to say goodbye, I broke down crying. We hugged, and for a brief moment, it felt like everything was normal. But deep down, I knew it was the last time. When he returned, he came to pick up the kids. We made small talk, exchanged polite smiles, but the truth was clear. Things would never be the same. Today, I will serve the divorce papers. The pain is indescribable. Knowing that I lost my best friend because of my own selfish choices is unbearable. Some mornings, I roll over, reaching for him out of habit, only to be met with emptiness. I miss his scent, his voice, the way his laughter filled the room. But most of all, I hate myself for hurting the person I love more than anything. If I could turn back time, I would undo everything. But I can't. All I can do now is cry as I write this, wishing he could see how deep my regret runs and how much I still love him. I would give anything for another chance to prove that I could be the wife he deserves. But I know I've lost him forever.